Okay, we don't have that. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I did not plug my microphone up. Got a new microphone for y'all. I gotta plug it up once we finish everything, but we are getting this together. This podcast we filmed last week. All right, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm late for Big Business Saturday. We had I had some taxes that I had to process before getting on here because I did not want to get cursed out by my tax clients that was waiting. All right, it looks like you all can hear me okay. I see the microphone moving. Hello, Aesthetics Guru. All right. I know it's the weekend, it's Saturday night. So some of you all are out hanging out, and some of you all are at home working on your business, right? So some of you all who are like me that's still at the office, we getting ready to get out of here, okay? That's still like me, that's still at the office. You may be working on your business tonight, right? So for Big Business Saturday, what I wanted to come on today with is kind of have like what we used to do, like kind of like an open QA kind of session for any of you all who are already in business. If you're thinking of starting a business, if you just have some questions, now they got to be basic. Don't get on here trying to ask me deep personal questions. All right, ask me something basic that we could go over if you wanted to. Of course, I always have something that I can share with you, so I'll start, right? And then we can go from there. But tonight I want to give you all a couple of different tips, but then I also want to open up the floor if you have any questions, that we can also do that as well. So I am on Facebook, but I'm also on my YouTube channel. As always, I'm always going to be live on the YouTube channel. Facebook, the video gets deleted after I end it. The replay is always on YouTube. So I'm Patrice L. Stewart on both platforms. So let's go ahead and get into it tonight. I don't want to be on longer than an hour. It's 8:35 here. So yeah, I want to get out of here before 10 o'clock. So if you're new here to my page and my channel, especially here on the YouTube channel, welcome. My name is Patrice L. Stewart, better known as the Realist Tax and Business Strategist. If you're new here, I have over 20 years of experience in the tax accounting industry, right? I built a business from the ground up. I started my company in 2008. So I am an entrepreneur that has built a business from the idea in your head to actually seeing it come to fruition, right? Having several multiple offices over the last 12 years. And so one of the things that I utilize here on my YouTube channel is to go live with you all, share information with you regarding taxes, business, credit. Those are the main three topics that I kind of focus on this channel. And then sometimes we get into some personal issues, right? Personal topics, hot topics, right? We talked about a lot the last 6 months, what that was going on with the election, bringing some people on. So I also get into those kind of conversations too that affect us personally as well as in business, right? So I also have changed Saturday from small business Saturday to big business Saturday. So I like to call Saturday big business Saturday versus small business Saturday, because most of us who start businesses, we're not looking to do anything small, right? You're starting a business because you actually love that business or idea, and then you also want to help people, but then you also want to make money, right? Let's be clear. Okay. So big business Saturday. I posted a couple of videos today, giving you all some different tips, right? With it being tax time right now, one of the things that I want you all to remember, especially as entrepreneurs and business owners, if you are starting or you have a business this time of the year, January through April, is not where you're going to be more focusing on um, trying to work with me on tax strategy for last year. Last year is over, right? So when you're in business, what you want to do is you want to have an actual action plan and a game plan, right? So if you know you started the business this year, or let's say you started last year, right? But this year you want to maybe buy some equipment. Maybe you want to buy a vehicle. Maybe you want to purchase some things that are specifically for the business. Well, one of the things is, before you make those purchases, it's actually good to sit down with your, if you have one, with your accountant or tax professional to go over the purchases first, right? One, some of these purchases can be a very lucrative tax write-off and deduction, just depending on what you're actually looking to purchase, right? And so you want to have this conversation up front before you get to buying some of these things, because your tax professional or your accountant can actually go over the benefits with you, right? Should you spend this amount of money to do this, right? Does it make sense to do it? Is this something that can actually be a tax write-off and deduction for you? So those are some of the things that you want to look at when you're building and starting your business, right? All businesses have startup costs, which your startup cost is completely different than what you're actually purchasing or using every single day, right? So I think one of the videos that we put out today was like, when you're in business and you have an office space, right? I'm in my office. I have an actual commercial office space that I pay for, that allows me to be able to film, allows me to be able to meet with my clients, right? Allows me to have a space to come in and host events, meet with my clients, right? When you are paying for an actual commercial space, or a space, even if it wasn't a commercial space, if you're paying for a room or a loft, right? That's not in your house, right? As long as it's not the same as your household, but it's an actual separate space that you're going to, weekly, monthly, whatever, that now is a tax write-off for you, right? So if I pay $1,500 a month for this office space, and over a 12-month period, that's $18,000 a year. That's now an $18,000 tax deduction that I can take when I file my business taxes, right? Some of you all are paying for spaces and you're not writing it off, right? So these are some of the things that I kind of want to remind you of, because if you have these type of expenses, right? A virtual office, some of you all are paying for your virtual office address. That could be $50 a month, $100 a month, right? Whatever that virtual office address fee is, that is now part of your business expenses, right? If you're using your cell phone or you have a dedicated phone strictly for business, right? I have my personal cell phone, but then I also have a business cell phone. I also have a business phone for my office. So that business phone expense, again, is a monthly tax write-off and deduction. Okay. If you do have a cell phone and you're using it 100% for business, that cell phone is now a tax write-off and deduction. So if you pay $100 a month for that cell phone, that's a $1,200 tax deduction when you file your taxes at the end of the year. You get what I mean? So one of the biggest things with being in business that I see a lot of startup businesses make mistakes with is not keeping up with those type of records, right? Not tallying those type of receipts. You're really leaving money on the table at that point, right? When you do that. So don't leave money on the table, because the whole point of starting the business is not, okay, that's not the whole point, right? But my thing is, if I'm starting a business and the IRS and the government allows me to take these different tax write-offs and deductions, why would I not take them, right? So you are leaving money on the table when you don't take the proper deductions, when you don't calculate and add up your proper expenses. That's money that you're leaving on the table, right? So I wanted to make that clear, because I know we put out a couple of videos today regarding like business expenses. I think I used The Office as one of those examples, and then I used something else. We put a couple of videos out today on the YouTube channel, right? Does anyone have any questions based off of what I just stated on that part with the business expenses? And if you don't have any questions, the other thing that I want to add to that with the business expenses are, you want to keep and maintain your receipts. All right. Even if when you get a receipt, you just literally take a picture of it and make sure that you save that receipt in your phone. So now you have the actual record, because paperwork gets messed up, right? It can get wet. Your dog could have ate it, whatever. We hear all kind of stuff when it comes to paperwork. But if you take the receipt, if you take a photo of the receipt at the time of the purchase, when you have it, that now will suffice, right? You can have photocopies of your receipts, or as we call it, scanned in copy. Scan in the receipt, take a photo of it, make sure that you actually keep it and have it. Because one of the biggest things and the biggest myths that I hear is, I have my bank statement. So if you didn't know, if you ever go through an audit, your bank statement is not enough. All right. The IRS is going to ask for actual receipts of purchase. Okay. Because guess what? When you submit your bank statement, what's on the bank statement? It's just whatever dollar amount that you spent at Target, right? It shows Target, and then it may show $90.47. So the IRS does not know what you spent on that bank statement, because it doesn't say that, right? So if you ever go through an audit, the IRS looks at itemized receipts. They want to see the actual receipt with the items listed on that receipt, so that way they can see that these purchases were for business. So just your bank statements alone, you will not pass an audit, okay? So it's very important for you to keep and maintain your receipts. That's one of the biggest things and ways that people lose an audit, is because they don't have the paperwork. They don't have the receipts for the proof. All right. I know it's Saturday night, and y'all had Valentine's Day yesterday, so I know people still out. So I'm not going to be on here long. Like I said, I wanted to come on and have a couple of tips for you, especially if you're starting your business. The other thing that I want to say and share with you is, if you have a business or if you're starting a business, it is very important for you to have a social media presence today. As much as I don't like being on this here internet, okay, in today's world that we live in, everyone is on their phone. Everyone is on these apps. So I understand if you don't want to be on all of them. I don't have time to be on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, right? It's a bunch of them. But I do have an actual page on every single one of those platforms, right? And so what I would suggest that you do is start posting on those multiple platforms and see where you get the most feedback. See where you get the most connection with your audience, right? And then once you have established a connection with an audience, then that's the platform that you go to the most, right? So I started out on Facebook, right? But my connection with the Facebook audience wasn't there, right? I was on Facebook 10 years plus, talking, educating, teaching, right? And I felt like it was going in one ear out the other. And then I found TikTok. I felt like TikTok was a way better space for me to interact with my community, right? With people who were interested in learning about business, taxes, credit, things like that, right? So once I found TikTok, that was a great place to be, right? And then I also created my YouTube channel. So between TikTok and YouTube, now YouTube is my favorite platform. And then TikTok, right? But now that I have kind of a specific platform that I like and that I know that I have clients or potential clients or a community on that platform, then those are the platforms that you see me on more, right? YouTube sees me more because YouTube community is in the mind frame of where I want my community to be, right? TikTok is more of a platform of where the mindset is of the people that I'm looking for to be a part of my community, right? So you want to put your information out here on these different social media platforms so that way you could see which ones actually hold weight, right? What do your videos carry attention? Where do your videos actually get views, right? Or your content. You may not do videos. You may make a post or, post a photo, or you may post affirmations, right? Whatever you do in your business, you want to have a social media presence on these platforms. And then you want to start actually posting out there so you can see where you can find your tribe, as I like to call it, when you find your tribe. So, and then that way you can narrow it down. You don't have to post every day on YouTube or every day on Facebook or every day on TikTok or wherever you're posting, right? Once you start gaining some traction and gaining that community, then you can just kind of come on those platforms and kind of focus on those instead of focusing on all 5 platforms. Because I'll tell you right now, it gets overwhelming. It gets overwhelming for you to do the business, right? Run your day-to-day business. And a lot of times when you are starting out in your business, you're wearing all of the hats, right? You're wearing the customer service hat. You're wearing the accountant hat. You may be the accountant and the bookkeeper. You're wearing the social media hat. You're wearing all of the hats. It takes 10 people to run the business, right? But in the beginning, when you're building this sucker from the ground up, you're going to probably be wearing those multiple hats. So it can get very overwhelming. It can be very frustrating. You can have a lot of nights where you're not really getting a whole lot of sleep. In the beginning, when I started my business in 08, 09, I would be up to 2, 3, 4 in the morning, right? Working on my business, and then have to get right back up at 7 a.m. to be at my job at 8 or 9 o'clock. So in the beginning, all right, business owners, I understand. I know where you're coming from. Been there. Okay. Um, your time, how you schedule yourself, how you put your information out there is going to be very important. Very important for you to actually succeed. A lot of people start businesses and a lot of them fail, right? Within the first 6 months to a year. By the grace of God, I started my business in 08 and it is 2025. So I think am I coming up on 15 years? 08 to 2018. And then 2015, 7 years. Yeah, I'm over 15 years. But fully self-employed, let me say that, because I still worked the job from 08 to 2013. So in 2013, I no longer had a full-time job at the bank. I no longer had it. So I was 1000% in my business in 2013. So 2013 to 2025, we 12 years in. 2013 to 2025, 2023 would have been 10 years. So, right. Yeah, we're 12 years in now. Right. So this 12-year history did not come overnight. Okay. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and sleepless nights there. So those of you all who are building your business and you're up half the night, trying to figure it out, I completely understand where you are. The beautiful thing about today is you all have it way better. than when I started 12 years ago. I'm gonna say that social media has changed the game, right? Social media has completely changed the game to where you all can move at lightning speeds to build your business and have access to the people and the community that you want to work with because social media, right? It's people that started their business 2 years ago and have already hit $1 million, right? So the times that we're in and the access and the apps and the systems that you have available now really benefit you. Okay. If you're not utilizing those systems, you need to go and watch some of my content on YouTube. I give you a lot of free information. We got over 900 videos on here with different tips. So it's a lot of resources and apps that you all can use today that can help you, right? Tony Cannon, how are you? Say, hey, beautiful, you can still write off expenses at your home office, right? Yes, you can. You can still write off expenses for your home office deduction. So those same expenses apply even if you have a home office. It's just when you have a home office, you're unless you have a rental agreement with yourself, right? But a lot of you all are not going to write off like a commercial office space amount like I would. Your home office deduction looks different, right? So when you have a home office and you have a specific area in your house, but in order for you to be able to take the home office deduction, okay, you do have to have a designated area in your home. All right. And then that area is your office space, right? And so you have to measure that space out, right? The IRS will allow you to write up to 300 square feet of your home office deduction, which equates to about 30%, right? So when you take in the home office deduction, you're able to write off a portion of not a portion, but that percentage, right? So if you have 100 square feet and your house is 1,000 square feet, that's 100 square feet. So that's 10%, right? If you have 1,000 square feet home and your home office is 200 square feet, that's 20%. All right. So everybody percentage is going to be based off of the square foot of your office space in your house, right? So let's just say it's 10%. Let's say it's 100 square feet at 10%. So now, Tony, whatever your rent or your mortgage payment is, you're able to write off 10% every month. All right, because you have that dedicated home office. Your lights, right? So if you're paying for lights in your home, in order for you to run your business, you need the lights on in your home, right? So now you get to write off 10% of your ComEd bill or your light bill, because everybody name for the light bill is different depending on the state that you in, right? But your light bill, your gas, your heat, it's the wintertime. You need heat. You can't work in the house if you don't have any heat, right? So you get to write off 10% of your heat bill. So that's how the home office deduction works. So and let me say the home office deduction is only for people who file on a Schedule C tax form. Okay. So if you're a corporation and you file corporate taxes, you don't get to write off a home office, right? Even if you have an LLC, you can have an LLC and still have a home office. But if you're an LLC with an S corp attached to it, you cannot write off your home office. So the home office deduction is only for Schedule C filers. All right. But every business still has business deductions that you can take, right? So things like your advertising, right? Maybe you pay somebody to do a flyer, right? Maybe you ran some ads on Facebook. That's an advertising expense. Like I said, if you're using your cell phone for business, you're able to write off that cell phone, right? That's a business expense. Paper, right? I'm in the tax industry. I have to buy paper and supplies, folders, things like that. This is a tax write-off and deduction, right? So every business has different types of deductions depending on your industry. right? So I'm a tax and business strategist. You wouldn't have the same tax write-offs that I would have if you're a trucker, right? If you're on the road and you have a trucking company and then you have this big 18-wheeler rig, you have a totally different type of deductions and expenses for your business because you're in a totally different industry, right? So taxes are also as far as depending on the different types of tax write-offs and deductions, that also will determine, you'll also determine that based off of the industry that you're in. So every industry is different and every industry has different types of write-offs and deductions, right? So this is another reason why it's good to know and work with someone like myself who's a tax and business strategist, because again, I know taxes and I know business, and I've also built a company of my own. So some people you work with, you may work with a CPA. I'm not a CPA, right? I'm not licensed. I don't have an official license um, to file or prepare taxes. You don't have to have a formal license, right? Um, but there are some people that are licensed, right? But there are some people who are licensed who have never ran a business before. So a lot of times I end up fixing a lot of CPA taxes. I'm gonna just say that. CPAs are certified public accountants, right? All CPAs are not well versed in business expenses, business tax strategy, business tax law, right? A lot of CPAs do accounting, bookkeeping, auditing, right? So I like to tell people every time, just, you don't have to always go to a CPA to do your taxes, especially if you're going to a CPA that doesn't necessarily know business taxes, right? I fix a lot of CPA returns. I'm just going to say that. Okay. So whoever you're dealing with, you just want to make sure that there's someone who knows and understands business tax laws and business strategy and planning. Okay. Because again, every industry is different. And then the taxes are different for those particular industries. So that was a great question, Tony. Aesthetics Guru says, can you write off annual fees for your business credit cards? Oh, I love that question, Aesthetics. And yes, you can. So you are able to write off your bank fees. You are also able to write off any credit card fees. And if you have a loan or paying interest on that money that you're borrowing for your business, you're able to write off the interest on those payments as well. Okay. So that actually was a good question. Great question. Classic music, what's going on? You say, I've invested in stocks. If my profile has $10,000, how can I get a loan from the bank from my asset? So classic music, that actually is going to be dependent on the bank, right? Every bank is different. When you go to like a big box bank, like a Chase, Bank of America, they may or may not want to see your portfolio summary, right? They may request and say, hey, we want to see an updated portfolio summary, right? So they can see what those assets look like, kind of what amount of money do you have available right now, right? A credit union may or may not want that information. They may give you the loan based off of that. So every bank is different when it comes to borrowing against your stock portfolio. So that would be a better question to kind of figure out and find out which bank you're going to do that with, or start doing some research to see which banks offer that and what their requirements are. Because every bank has their own requirements, right? Every single bank has different requirements for the paperwork that they're looking for. So I always say you want to at least learn and find the bank first. I honestly, classic, I would start with a credit union first, because credit unions are way more lenient when it comes to lending, especially for businesses. I feel like they may not ask for as much paperwork as like a standard or big box bank would. So if you have a credit union in mind, or look at some credit unions, in your area, and I will start there. I would definitely, anytime I do lending personally as a business, I do lending with a credit union over a big box banking institution. Like I said, credit unions, their interest rates are lower, their standards are lower, and they're probably going to give you the money a lot quicker. Okay. Um, so great question. Thank y'all. Come on, YouTubers. Come on for chiming on in. I am on YouTube as well as Facebook. So I haven't gotten any questions from anybody on Facebook right now. If you're just chiming in, I've been on exactly 30 minutes. We got 30 minutes left. But I'm doing like an open kind of QA session tonight. So if you are a business owner or you're looking to start a business, you have a startup business, or you're even thinking about starting a business and you have a question, this is your time tonight to get me on here before I leave and shut down tonight. So we call this Big Business Saturday. Now that it's tax time, I more than likely will be doing these in the evening. I always promise y'all that I'm gonna come on in the morning, and I don't know why I keep doing that. I need to stop telling y'all that I'm gonna be on in the morning because I'm not. So during January through April, baby, it's grind time. So those people would kill me if I was on here at 10 a.m. in the morning with y'all when they looking for their taxes. So you would catch me on here in the evening like this, okay? If we do these open sessions. So the next question that I see is Tony. She says, I was just about to say, you know more than the CPAs I met. Exactly, Tony. And that's what I'm trying to say. 80, over 80% of the CPAs that I personally know do not focus on tax law, okay? They don't. They do not focus. I have fixed hundreds. Let's just say that. I've been in this almost 20 years doing taxes. I have fixed hundreds of tax returns that a CPA prepared, and it was absolutely wrong. Okay. Absolutely. So, not saying that CPAs don't know, don't do their thing, but a lot of people have the misconception that they are a tax expert, and most of them are not tax experts. All right. That's just the biggest thing. So, whatever CPA you're talking to, ask them that. They should be honest and tell you if they, are well versed in business tax law. I don't know many that are. I'll say that. Classic music, I got you. Appreciate you. Thanks for chiming in and asking the questions. What's going on, Arthur? How are you this evening? All right, let me just double check on Facebook. Hey, Tiana Washington. I see you put the heart up. Okay. So what else y'all got? What else y'all got? The thing that I love, and so this is one of the things why y'all quiet or thinking about your next question. This is one of the other things why I stress that you all need to try to figure out how to start a business or the reason to start a business, right? I'm gonna give you the biggest benefit. Okay. And I think, Tony, you said that earlier, or someone else said that. I posted a video on Facebook. I think somebody said it on the Facebook video was, I lived my whole life through my business, y'all. Right? Patrice Stewart, I don't own nothing personally. I don't own nothing personally because there's no benefit to me owning anything personally. Right? All of the benefits are under business. Right? So when the IRS, when the tax code was created, right? And really, look, well, I ain't even gonna go there with y'all, but if more people in America knew and understood that really taxes, do I want to say this? I'm gonna just say this: y'all not supposed to be paying all these dang on taxes that you paying. That's how I'm gonna say it. If more people knew and understood that, and if America really understood how the system works, a lot of stuff that you pay for and that you do really is illegal. It is. It's really illegal. But the system gets away with it because no one is challenging it. You know what I'm saying? No one is saying, well, in section code 369.2, it says this, and this, right? And so the people who do their own research and understand that America, I tell y'all this all the time, America is a corporation, okay? America is a business. America was built off of the foundation of running a business. So guess what? In the tax laws, and this is why I got into the tax industry, right? Because I learned that there is no color when it comes to taxes, right? As African-American people, we know and understand the fight that we've had growing up, being just living, right? Just being who you are, okay? But I also learned that there are certain things and systems put in places that no matter what color you are, if you learn this, your entire life could change. So the first thing that I learned was credit. Once I learned the credit system, how credit works, how you can utilize credit in this country, how you can use your credit for business, right? Because a lot of us, you use your credit and your personal credit is jacked up. But if you started a business and you started using your personal credit for that business, it's a totally different benefit over here. You get what I'm saying? So personal life and business life are two totally different things in America. So the average person is a worker bee, right? You work for somebody. You're a W-2 wage earner. You may be an independent contractor. You may work independently for a company, Uber, Lyft, something like that, right? You all are taxed the most in this country. W-2 wage earners and 1099, self-employed. You are taxed the most. You pay the highest taxes in this country, okay? Me, because I'm a business owner and I have a corporation as well as an LLC, right? I have a couple of companies, but my main company, this company, we'll just stick with this one. My tax and consulting business is a corporation. So because I'm under corporate tax law, my write-offs and deductions are completely different than you all as individual personal people filing on your taxes, right? You get taxed before you even see your money. You go to work for 2 weeks and you work an 80-hour week. And when you get your check, taxes are already taken out, right? Federal has taken their money out. State has taken their money out. FICA has taken their money out. If you all are carrying any health insurance, if you're paying into your 401k, all of that is deducted out of your payment, right? So you may have made $2,000, but after they've taken the taxes, you may bring home $1,400, right? With me, I make $2,000, which I did today. I made $2,000 today, filing taxes, right? I'm not paying taxes on that $2,000 because I get to make my money first. And then I get to deduct all of my expenses, right? So this office, any expenses that I have, my cell phone, my staff, all of that, I get to write all of that off first. And then I pay taxes on what's left over. It's a big difference. You know what I mean? So if you make 100,000, let's pull the board out real quick before I get off here, just for example purposes, right? You're a W-2, and then I'm a corporation. Oh, Facebook, I don't think y'all could see this because I didn't turn the camera around. I didn't mirror it. Y'all will have to go on my YouTube channel to see it. Because I think you got to do it before you start the live. Hey, Erica. Yeah, I think I got to turn it around before I start the live. I don't see how to turn it around on y'all. So it's going to look backwards to you on Facebook. I'm on my YouTube channel. Patrice L. Stewart on YouTube. You can see it. It's not backwards though, Kane. To me, it looked backwards. But if you could see it, then hey, cool. Otherwise, I would say come over here to my YouTube channel. Right? And so I'm a corporation. So I file corporate taxes, which is on a 1120 tax form. You file on a 1040 tax return. Okay. Sorry, I meant to keep the color separate. Where my little eraser go? Okay. You file on a 1040 tax return, right? So like I said, your tax, you got to pay federal, you got to pay Medicare, you got to pay state, you might have 401k, right? All of that. So you're going to have all these different deductions, right? So if you made $2,000, your take home may be, say, $1,400, just for the sake of time. We're just going to say that, right? Now, again, with me, if I made $2,000 today as a business, my business income, right? But I have expenses. I have this office. I have supplies. I have software, right? Because I need all of this to file the taxes, right? So I can write off my different expenses. Let's say my expenses are $1,500. So I'm only paying taxes on this $500. You see the difference? So for me, that's why I say I live my whole life through my business, because I incorporate my lifestyle into my business. You get what I'm saying? That's why you all have seen me say, like, we, as a corporation, we have to have an annual meeting. So when you're a corporation, you have to host an annual meeting every year. So for my annual meeting, I turn my annual meeting into my birthday. So my birthday is in June. If I don't host my annual meeting in June, then I wait and celebrate my birthday during my annual meeting time. Because that way I can go and travel. I can go, nowhere in the tax law does it say I have to have my annual meeting here in Chicago. I can have my annual meeting in Jamaica. I can have my annual meeting in Dubai, right? I just have to have an annual meeting. And then I have to have everyone who's on my corporation, right, as my board, because when you have a corporation, you have a board of directors. So my mother is one of my board of directors, right? My aunt is one of my board of directors, right? So all I have to do is have all of these people at that meeting, and we can take a whole family vacation, right? But it's not called a family vacation. It's called an annual meeting. But in business, this is how you have to think. And when I say you have to plan stuff out, this is what I mean. So if you know every year you want to celebrate your birthday and you have a business, it makes more sense for you to focus and put that, if you have a corporation, again, every business is different. LLCs, you all don't have annual meetings. You're a member of an organization. So corporations, we're different. We have a board of directors. We have to have an annual meeting. And so this is another reason why I say it's also important for you to know and to talk with a expert. Okay. I'm a tax and business strategist, because it's important for you to know, for the person who you're working with, to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and which entity is best for you. This is why I tell y'all, everybody should not be a LLC. Y'all just assume, oh, an LLC is easy to file, it's this, it's that. But depending on your business, it may not make sense for you to be an LLC. It may make more sense for you to be a corporation. You get what I'm saying? Kane said, can I be on the board? Right? it may make sense for you to do that, depending on your type of business that you have, depending on the type of things that you're trying to do, depending on your type of lifestyle. Okay. That again is part of the reason why you want to work with an expert who knows and understands business tax laws and also business strategy, because we're going to implement a game plan and an action plan for you every single year based off what you're trying to. Oh, you got this, you got that. No, because that's not how it works. Every single business is different based off of the industry, based off of you, what your vision is, what you see for yourself. Some of you may see yourself being as big as an Apple or a Google one day. So why would you set up a basic LLC if you see yourself as an Apple or a Google? If you want to have a stock market and you want to sell your company on the stock exchange, you can't be a basic LLC. Companies on the stock market are corporations. You get what I'm saying? It's different. So you want to know these different things. Business is not a one size fits all. And I have shared that with y'all. I live my whole life through my business. I don't own nothing. My businesses own everything. It makes way more sense. And I get way more tax write-offs and deductions. So Tony, I see you asked another question. You said another thing. I am a single member LLC, but when I file my taxes, they file my Schedule C and I still get credits like the child tax credit, earned income credit, but I am still recognized as a business entity. Correct, Tony. So when you are a single member LLC, you do file just like a self-employed person, which is on that Schedule C form, right? So you still receive those credits because you're in. Okay, I tried to refresh the screen. Let me know, can you all hear me? Can you hear me now? I had to connect to, okay, thank you. I had to connect to my cell phone, so I don't know Wi-Fi anymore. Now I'm on the cell phone. So, okay, Jerome say it was frozen. Okay. Thank you, Jerome, for letting me know. I know I had to refresh it and get on the other internet. But Tony, back to what you were asking me basically. So that's the reason why you still receive those credits, because your income still falls within the threshold. I know, that's what I was saying, Jerome. Every time I'm getting right into it, then my internet want to try to act up. So try to recap. Let me see. Thanks, Erica, for letting me know. Okay, Facebook is good. Yeah, it is backwards. I thought it was backwards. Yeah, because I didn't put the look. You got to do it before you go live. You could flip the camera to where it will turn around for y'all. So, I'm on YouTube. So if you come to my YouTube channel, Patrice L. Stewart, you'll be able to see the board the correct way. Of course, I'm always taking clients. We still taking clients. We still accepting clients. We still accepting clients because this is just the busy season, right? Remember, you all, taxes are all year round. So just because you see that, tax season, technically, we could file taxes all year round. That April 15th deadline are for those of you who owe, right? If you normally receive a refund, you can file all year. I have some clients that wait to file towards the end of the year. I have some clients that wait to file in June, July, August, because they want to go on trips for the summer, right? So everyone doesn't file January through April, right? It's just a matter of the office that you're working with, who you're working with. I'm registered as an IRS e-file, authorized e-file agent in all 50 states. So we file taxes in all 50 states all year round. And we can also process the last 3 tax years electronically. So not only do we file taxes in all 50 states, we also could file your last 3 tax years electronically. So Jerome, you said I never filed 23. Yeah, you could still file 20. We file 24, 23, and 20 right now electronically. You can file all 3 of those tax years electronically with my office. So the IRS gets it instantly, they'll accept it, and then they'll start processing them. So yeah. But like I said, that April 15th deadline is more for people who owe. So if you owe and you know you're gonna owe, then you want to file by deadline. If you ask for an extension, I need y'all to know this. Filing an extension does not stop them from charging you interest and penalty, right? So if the taxes are due April 15th and you say, okay, I need a 6-month extension, that's just telling them, hey, you need more time to file, right? They're still going to charge you interest and penalty on whatever amount that you owe. And sometimes it does, it's beneficial, to work with a tax professional like myself, because some of you all file, yourselves on TurboTax, but depending on what you have. Now, if you got a straight W-2, no kids, or even with kids, and you don't have like any property, you don't have a business on the outside, then file that on TurboTax. Right? You don't have to come to me. But sometimes I can help some people who owe, just because you all don't know all of the available tax credits for you. Sometimes there are credits out there available for you that you could take depending on what you have going on. But if you just have, if you only have a W-2 in your job and that's it, then yeah, file it yourself on TurboTax. You don't have to pay somebody to file, 1 W-2 or 2 W-2s and to claim your kids. Like that's not something that's hard to do, right? You can't do those on your own. Yeah, so Jerome, so what I do is the price itself is not going to be on the link. So when you go to my link tree, it will say prior year tax appointment, right? So what I do is I charge you a $199 deposit, a $199 deposit, right? If you're looking to file prior years. You'll upload, and we charge that deposit each year. So if you're filing 3 years, then it's a $199 deposit for each tax year, because each tax year is entered and filed separately, okay? So then that deposit now allows you to get into my system, right? That allows you to upload your paperwork, your documents, and then I would go in and enter in the tax years that you're filing, and then we would run pretty much a quote for you, because it's going to be based off of the forms that we file, right? If you're someone that owns property or you have a business, your taxes are going to be different, right? And the prices are going to be different. So I won't know what your tax fee is until I see all of your paperwork. So we do charge you a $199 deposit. That deposit does get applied to your tax return if you decide to, once I give you your quote, and maybe your tax forms is $600, right? We'll apply that $199 to that $600 balance, and then you'll owe me the $400 difference, right? So that's how it will work. So I have to see all of your paperwork first before you get a final quote. But that's how it will work. You will book a prior year tax appointment, pay $199, and